Let's take a look at Classpath and module dependency. EAP 6 to replace the old hierarchical class loading structure with JBoss modules project, which means if you have some jar files that require for application, you can actually include them as modules instead of just simply putting into the lib folder. As you can take a look at here, JBoss EAP 6 standalone mode. Let's say, for example, for backward compatibility, we do have a lib folder. But typically, it's not a recommended practice to throw the jar files in here. If an application requires that, instead of putting the jar file here, you configure as a modules. So, which is actually in the JBoss EAP 6 modules folder. Expand on the module folder. Here, take a look at one of them here in the Java X folder, faces API. Then you have a main folder. Typically, any module you have a main folder. Within that main folder, you'll find a jar file and then module XML that describe the jar file and also describe any kind of dependency. Let's take a look at this module XML here. So here's we have the module XML that actually shows the structure, the directory structure, Java X faces API. Going back here, the Java X under the modules folder, Java X faces API, and the main folder. So within that, it actually specified this jar file that is included, and then whether this jar requires any other additional modules dependency. So there's an implicit dependency and also explicit dependency. Here we're explicitly specifying some of the dependency. Automatically it'll provide those. Couple of things I want to point out here. Part of the dependency, when you specified export true, what the export true attributes means whether or not this module dependency is re-exported. What that means is any module that depends on this module, for example JSF, this module, will also get access to this dependency. So that's basically it is. So this will re-export all these dependency to any module that depends on the Java X faces API. When it comes to specifying dependency, there's three options available. Dependencies header in the meta folder manifest MF file. Typically, any jar files will have the manifest MF. Let's take a look at an example here. The manifest.mf here. Specify the dependency header. You can specify the modules that you want to depend on. The other option is probably the recommended practice. Using under the meta folder, throw in a JBoss deployment structure XML file. Here's for an example, the JBoss deployment structure XML file. Here in this case for a particular application, what we are saying here, I'm just looking at this particular one here, module Java X faces API slot main. So under the main one, which is the 2.0, we actually trying to exclude that. And then here specifying dependency for the Java X faces API 1.2. So going back to our folder structure, JBoss EAP 6 modules folder, under Java X faces API, we see the 1.2 slot and also the main one, as you can see here. So it has the module XML files and also the jar file in each one of these folder. So what you're specifying here for this particular application, exclude the one in the main one, which is 2.0, include the Java X faces API 1.2. And you can actually go in a granular level and exclude not just the entire package, you can actually exclude specific classes within that particular module and include certain classes within this module, the 1.2. So you can actually go very granular level. So take a look at the documentations on that. And the other option is actually configure the global modules in either in the standalone XML or the domain XML. Just typically you can find those. For example, domain XML, you have the extension module. You can actually configure them here. So assuming you create your own one provided in the structure, you can configure as an extension module, followed by the subsystem property. So it'll automatically, if you're not configuring anything, just simply actually an empty subsystem tag property Just I'm showing an example, but if you attach your own module, you have to create those extension and also a subsystem, so it'll actually automatically get loaded by EAP6 once it starts up. So that's actually conclude the class path and module dependency.